Hi guys, this is gsnhome.com and I'm here with a review of the Xiaomi 12X, one of the smallest flagships I've seen this year. Well, it's not actually a flagship, but rather a second-tier version of the Xiaomi 12. It has the exact same design, exact same camera and screen, and only swaps the CPU, replaces the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 with the Snapdragon 870 to deliver a more affordable package. The price is around 500 euros and we're dealing here with a small phone for the smaller hands and at the same time with a more sober camera design. Still, we have some goodies. We have an infrared emitter, we have stereo speakers tuned by Harman Kardon and also the 120Hz AMOLED screen. It's time for a review. Okay, so first things first, design. This is obviously a rival for the Galaxy S22. Xiaomi decided that after two models, the Mi 10 and Mi 11, they wanted to create the smaller version of the Pro unit or the basic unit. So that's how the 12 and the 12X came to life. We got the glass at the front, curved on the sides, metal frame here, and then comes the glass back with a matte finish and also curved sides again. 8.2 millimeters, kind of thick if you ask me, and 176 grams. It feels like a very dense phone. Everything is concentrated in a small package. It's a compact phone. It's incredibly easy to wield with a single hand. Even if you have big hands or smaller hands, you'll definitely find it easy to reach all the areas on the screen. Now the colors available for the device are gray, also blue, purple. It's well built for sure. It's pretty nice grip wise, there's no objection here, and it's definitely good looking and at the same time fits any pocket. Too bad we do not have IP certification and waterproofing and dust proofing. By the way, great feedback from those buttons here. Now, on the screen side, what we have here is an AMOLED, just in case you're wondering, and this AMOLED has a 6.28-inch diagonal, Full HD Plus resolution, 120Hz refresh rate, and keeps some of the goodies like Dolby Vision HDR10+. Now, the actual viewing experience goes like this. We have this clip here and just let's see how immersive the experience is. As you can see, the panel is quite bright and pretty crisp. We have vivid colors and wide view angles and also a nice contrast even in the full sunlight. Deep blacks and pure whites, and the immersiveness, well, something that adds to that immersiveness are the curved corners of the screen, to be honest. Okay, now we go further than that. This screen has a pentile matrix pixel arrangement, and we also did a brightness test and achieved 599 lux units. This is a great result. It's superior to the result of the Galaxy S21 and the Galaxy S21 Fan Edition 5G. It's below the Galaxy S22 Ultra, Huawei P50 Pro and the Zenfone 8. Settings include always on display, brightness, reading mode and some color calibrations. And now we go further, we go inside the phone where we find, as I said before, the Qualcomm Snapdragon, not the 865, the 870. Also present on the Black Shark 5, the Realme GT Neo 2 and the ZTE Axon 30, just a few examples of phones using this high mid-range CPU. In the current case, it's accompanied by 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, UFS 3.1, no microSD, also no lag, and it runs games pretty fine. I would also say that it's less prone to throttling compared to the Xiaomi 12 and the Xiaomi 12 Pro. When it comes to the benchmarks, we have you covered. We got them here, we go here. This is on 229, where we're just above Huawei P50 Pro. And on 228, we're above the Motorola Edge Plus and Xiaomi Mi 10T. But more relevantly, we are above the OnePlus 8T and Motorola Edge 20 Pro. Still, we are below Poco F3 and the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. As far as Geekbench 5 is concerned, in the multi-core subtest, we're just above Huawei Mate 40 Pro and we're also surpassing OnePlus 8T. We are below Galaxy S21 Fan Edition and Motorola Moto G200. This is 3D Mark Slingshot Extreme ES 3.1, takes care of the whole GPU thing. It's above the Poco F3, this model I'm holding, and above the Galaxy S22 Plus, which is actually not that bad. Still below the Moto G100 and the Vivo X60 Pro. It feels like top 30 material for sure. It's pretty future-proof, I would say, for at least a year or two. And when it comes to the temperature, we achieved 40.1 degrees Celsius in benchmarks, a bit hot but not excessively, and 30.6 degrees Celsius in games, so games will be played fine without overheating. Now let's talk about the battery. It's a 4500 mAh unit and the device charges at 67 watts via wire. On paper it should juice up in 39 minutes. Sadly, no wireless charging here. Now when it comes to the actual usage time we got, video playback, it's 15 hours and 35 minutes. I mean, it's fine, but not a record breaker. Goes above Moto G200 and the Galaxy S21 Fan Edition. Goes below Galaxy S21 and a Poco F3. In PC mark, continuous usage, 12 hours and 27 minutes. This is a bit more impressive. It's above the Huawei Nova 9 and the Oppo Reno 6 Pro 5G, but at the same time you can see this device below a few other relevant phones like the, for example, Huawei Mate 40 Pro, OnePlus 10 Pro, Oppo Reno 5 or the Realme GT2 Pro. Charging is done in 46 minutes, I mean the full charge, and after 15 minutes you are 43%, which should be pretty decent. We also have power saving and ultra power saving options. Okay, so acoustics wise we have stereo speakers here. You can see one here and the inscription Harman Kardon here, and the other one is here. It's a poor placement because you will cover them with your hands when you hold the phone in landscape, but luckily the sound will go through. It will go between your fingers, so to say. We also do not have an audio jack here, and we have Dolby Atmos and a bunch of presets. Now the actual music experience goes something like this. Okay, so a bunch of ideas. I covered each speaker one by one. The bottom one feels a bit more powerful, but they're pretty well balanced. I would also like to say that the experience is loud. You have a satisfying bass, lots of vibrations in the case of this small phone. It's a powerful set of speakers with a crisp sound and crisp voice. The only problem appears when you listen to loud guitar solos and very intense EDM. That's about it. Otherwise, not much distortion, so that's fine. We have a bunch of decibel meter tests here. So when it comes to an acoustic sample test, at the bottom we have 85.4 decibels and at the top 85 decibels. As I said before, well balanced. It's above the Galaxy S21 Plus and above the Huawei P50 Pro, but below the predecessor Xiaomi Mi 11 and below the Motorola Edge 30 Pro. When it comes to gaming, 96.9 decibels, expected a bit more. It's above the Galaxy S22 Ultra and the Mi 11, but below the Motorola Edge 30 Pro and below the Oppo Find X5 Pro. When it comes to the camera, this is exactly the same package as the Xiaomi 12. We start off with the 32 megapixel selfie camera, which has HDR and fixed focus. We go back to the triple back camera, 50 megapixel main shooter with OIS, optical image stabilization, 13 megapixel ultra wide camera, and 5 megapixel tele macro camera, plus dual LED flash, and much more. We have apparently 8K capture, not sure about that. Let's actually check it to make sure we actually get, yes, so we have 8K capture confirmed. I actually forgot about it for a second. Anyway, 8K in 24 frames, 4K 60 frames should be here. And the experience, the UI includes AI, HDR, movie frame, and quite a few options. Some people may actually find the quantity of options here confusing. And by the way, check out the new interface for the more section. Now, we also did a separate review for the Xiaomi Mi 12, and they have the exact same camera. However, the difference in CPU also brings a difference in ISP, image signal processor. As a difference from the Xiaomi 12, this one has a more intense green. It's oversaturated and overexposed, the green hue of the vegetation in full sunlight. At least there's not much difference between the main camera and the ultra-wide one in color calibration. The zoom wasn't impressive at first, but then it became so. The selfies aren't bad. I'm talking about the texture, details, and how well the face is focused compared to the background. And here we also have a bokeh, which is well applied, didn't miss any thread of hair. Nice hair texture, nice beard texture, and the clothes are also spot on texture-wise. We go further, and this is the problem I mentioned. This green is a bit unrealistic. Even though we catch multiple shades and nuances of green, it's not very realistic compared to what my eyes perceived that day. This is the ultra-wide version of the shot. And here's a zoom test, which is actually not that bad, but if you go past 3x, you can forget it. We go further here, another set of selfies, and they're all fine, even though I don't see the pores all the time. And when you go into a shady, darker area like this one, a bit of noise will appear here and there, unless you're using bokeh portrait. Okay, we go further than that. Quite a few selfies. What I love about this next set of pictures is the texture of the sand in this play pit for kids. There's sand again, very well rendered in this shot here. And then we have another set of colors to play with. This one. These are vivid colors, and you can finally tell some difference between the main camera and the ultra wide one. These are intense reds. And let's actually go back a bit. So intense reds. These ones are closer to pink on the ultra wide camera. There's a difference in the hue of red here and here. It's small, but it's there. This is a more, I would say, washed out red, so to say. We also have close-ups, like these ones here, but we have even better close-ups towards the end of the gallery, like these ones here. Very nice texture, by the way, and pretty solid focus on this object. And we have another one to show you, which is this little acorn, metal acorn here. So the focus is fine, a lot of details. Basically, my only complaint would be the fact that we have the vegetation, the green of the vegetation is a bit overexposed and oversaturated, even when compared to the Xiaomi 12. The quality of the shots is pretty solid, I would say, for a high mid-range phone. Basically, not much to object about, except for the lack of a proper zoom and the color calibration sometimes when it's very sunny outside. These have been the daytime shots. Let's talk about low light shots now. Okay, so let's talk about the low light pictures taken with this phone. This time we're changing towns, and I have to notice something here. The images we have here, especially the ultra wide ones, are a bit warmer with a slight red hue. The normal camera, the main camera, takes solid pictures with a lot of light, so much so that I didn't actually feel the need to activate the night mode. It's one of those rare cases where the night mode actually may bother you because it makes things too white, too daytime-like, so you may want to keep that nighttime approach. This is an ultra wide shot where the lights are much bigger and the colors much warmer. In general, the quality was flagship level when using the main camera. Nice focus, a lot of details, especially for the architectural pieces of this town. But once again, it's one of those phones where the night mode is kind of useless. Regular shot and night mode shot, we don't know for sure which is which. I'm guessing this is the night mode shot because it's a bit lighter, and this is the regular one because it's a bit darker. So there you have it. Okay, so all in all, flagship quality during the night. And let's talk about the videos now. As usual, we have quite a few. We go here. We have 16 videos. Let's talk about the most relevant ones. This is a panning video. And as you can see, the image is oversaturated and overexposed. The vegetation is too intense green for my liking. It's a powerful green, but the sky is shown in a pretty realistic manner. And considering I am panning in 4K, stabilization isn't half bad. It's not hugely oversaturated, but it is. Okay, and there we have this clip here with more colors. A slight exposure blunder here, which was fixed fast. I love the reds. That's one color I noticed here. The reds and the yellows are particularly fine. Nice texture of the sand. Another set of colors. This is the 8K video, which is a bit shakier as expected. Lots of details, especially with this bird bat we have here. And then we start the selfie video test. Not the best stabilized in the world. Decent ambience captured by the microphones. Okay focus. And I would say plenty of details, although I may have wanted more from a wannabe flagship. This is the first stabilization test without any sort of special steady mode. It's 4K and it's actually pretty solid. It's followed up by this test with the steady mode on, Full HD. This is one of the modes, the stabilization modes. You can see me shaking the camera intentionally to see if we lose any clarity, and guess what? We don't. And we have another test here with the third mode, which probably swaps to the ultra-wide camera. We have a wider angle, and to be honest, this is not as impressive, the Pro mode, as the other two. Okay, as you can see, we have plenty of videos. Some things to remember here: all the colors are fine except for the green of the vegetation. Plenty of light, excellent clarity, excellent stabilization, nice focus all around, so there's no complaint for me, maybe except for the selfie part. And I would also say that the green of the vegetation may pose some problems. As you can see, the focus is fast. The focus change, of course. Next up, we have the nighttime video, the low light clip. As you can see, it's orange. It's a bit darker and noisier. Not as much as a mid-range phone, to be honest. It's definitely higher than a mid-range phone, and when you're walking, the trepidation and vibration of the image isn't as bad as you would expect it to be. If it weren't for the warmer colors and the orange tint, this would actually be a very solid nighttime video capture. Okay, we're about done with the camera. Now let's talk about the connectivity. Obviously, I'm holding a 5G phone here, which also provides us with a Wi-Fi 6 connectivity. There's Bluetooth 5.2. We also have GPS, AGPS, GLONASS, and BDS. Plus Galileo, QZSS, and Navic for navigation purposes. There's NFC, there's an infrared emitter here to control your TV set-top box and more, and an USB-C port 2.0 right here. The calls were loud and clear, even though we have almost invisible earpiece here at the top side. And we did a bunch of speed tests, so let's see what came out of those. We have the results here, and I should probably start with the Wi-Fi. 671 megapers in download, 434 megapers in upload. I would say we're doing fine. And on 5G, 305 over 17.9, actually 19.9. This could have been a bit better, but it depends very much on the network. Okay, now the software. If you've seen a recent review of a Xiaomi phone from us, you know exactly what to expect. This is MIUI 13, however, it's not applied on top of Android 12, sadly. It's applied on top of Android 11 for some reason, which is kind of bad for a flagship. At least there's not a big change going from Android 11 to 12 with MIUI 13 on top. We have the news feed here in the leftmost area. We have the two columns for the multitasking department in the recents. We have the separated control panel or control center here for the quick settings, separated from the notifications, which are present on the left side. We have the widgets here with a new widget picker, but with the same widget design we've seen for the past 3-4 years. And let's see what else. A lot of personalization here. The wallpaper is just the tip of the iceberg. We also have themes and a lot of stuff to customize. Now, aside from that, we're going to delve into the settings and see what we have here. About, system apps, security status, connectivity, always on display with quite a few features to customize here. Clocks, backgrounds, kaleidoscope, and more. Display, sound and vibration, password and security. So right now I am using the fingerprint scanner in the screen. There's also the option of face unlock. As you can see, the fingerprint scanner works fine. Privacy protection is here. You can see the permissions granted to apps. We don't have the dashboard from Android 12. It will come with an update. We have digital well-being and parental control and special features which include a sidebar, floating window, second space, light mode, and even a heart rate, which is shocking for me. This is the sidebar, which lets you trigger some of the apps in a floating window mode and triggers shortcuts. Now, heart rate is basically the fingerprint scanner. It measures your pulse using the fingerprint scanner. That's better said. Okay. And let's see what else. There's another area for privacy, apparently. And as far as the pre-installed apps are concerned, the core one is security, which is basically your hub of the phone's well-functioning. Security scan, cleaner, battery boost speed, and even gamers get their own game turbo area where they can apply a bunch of settings and options related to the games. In the apps list, we also have a note-taking application. We have a pre-installed PUBG Mobile, ShareMe, and Spotify, WPS, Office, and Teams. Not sure if I forgot anything, but if I did, rest assured you will be finding it in the text to review. I think we're about done with the review of the Xiaomi 12X, and it's time for the pros and cons. It's a comfy phone, on the pro side. So first, let's talk about the pros. It's a comfy phone, which is well built. It's very dense, something I mentioned in the beginning. It's got a very bright screen and also pretty crisp. Okay performance with the Snapdragon CPU inside, already proven on quite a few other phones. Good speakers, okay battery life, fast connectivity. It takes crisp photographs with the main camera, and the ultra-wide one is not bad. Great stabilization and detailed 4K clips. Now, those are the pros. On the cons, well, we don't have IP certification, we don't have wireless charging. We also only have Android 11 here. There's a bit of oversaturation and overexposure in some of the photos and videos in the vegetation area. And the selfie performance was, I would say, so-so. It's also weird for me to see that the Pro mode of the stabilization and the night mode aren't as effective as the basic modes. And also, the handset will often have accidental touches on the side of the screen, but luckily we have an option for that. So be advised, there may be accidental touches on account of the curved screen. Now, this is obviously Galaxy S22 rival. Small phones, well, there aren't many of them on the market right now. You can think about the Pixel 5a, Pixel 6a maybe, Galaxy S22, and this one. Apple is giving up on the iPhone mini, so not much choice for persons with small hands who want a small phone. Does this model fight the Galaxy S22? Well, yes it does. However, with a lesser CPU, you also have the Xiaomi 12 if you want the identical power of a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It's a solid phone if you want to do some traveling and vlogging, that's what I would say, on account of the main camera filming and capturing photographs so well. However, for gaming, the format is kind of small, also for Netflix, but I think you can do your job with it. I mean, it's strictly the format which is selling the phone, how small it is, and the performance, and if you can live without the high-end zoom, you'll be happy with the performance of the camera all in all. Not very sure about the selfie camera for the vlogging segment, but I still think it's a traveler's and vlogger's phone with small hands. That's it from gsn.com. This has been the review of the Xiaomi 12X. Goodbye.